Well, hello, I am Chris Oppenheimer, and this is Real, Raw, Authentic, volume number 6. And I have with me here today Josh Hani. He was on our podcast last week talking about his story, but I sent him a video a couple weeks ago. I said, Josh, I want you to watch this, and he watched it. So, Josh, let's go ahead and start there.
So I'm the videographer here. I do all the podcast stuff for Mr. Chris. Every podcast you see is filmed, edited, produced, all by me. Mr. Chris wanted to do a podcast on the ayahuasca, and he sent me a video about it a couple weeks ago. And I was like, let me just click on it, see what it's all about. So the first time I clicked on it, I was like, whoa, I'm not watching any more of this. 2 minutes in, they're like screaming and stuff like that. I mean, I'll put up a clip right now of what it's like.
There's something that you can't be prepared for.
Nunca pudiendo dominar Sitoni, cuerpo Sitoni. Nunca pudiendo dominar Sitoni, espíritu Sitoni. Cuidar y cuidar.
And I was like, nope, I ain't watching any more of this. And so right before this, he said he wanted to do a podcast on it. And I was like, well, hell, that'd be a good podcast idea. So I went ahead and watched it, and I pushed through, and actually it looks pretty legit. Like I've seen them drink the potion, they do all the tree stuff. And I was like, wow, that's really crazy. And then they like are yelling and puking, and it was like a lot for me, but I pushed through and I watched it, and I thought it was a really cool experience. I haven't watched the second one you sent me. I was going to want to watch that, and then we can update the viewers after I watch it and after you get back from what is it, Amazon?
I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Tulum for a couple. I'm going deep into the jungle.
Okay.
And we are going
Panama, right?
No.
That's where were they at?
That video, yes. That video.
Okay, that video
they're in all different places of the world, usually in the jungles and places like that. But it's traditional medicine. It's been used for thousands of years. And it's basically mixing a tree root with a leaf, and they call it a medicine. And I got to be honest, I showed that first video with my family. My mom called me and she goes, "Who are you going with? Is this a drug?" I mean, because you got to realize I used to do a lot of drugs, and now I'm going into the jungle.
It's not a drug though.
It's not a drug. It's a medicine. It's an ancient medicine, and it's designed to it basically, I don't know, because I've never been, but here's what I do know. I met a friend online about a year ago, and I was following him, and I was very intrigued with his way of being. And he went on an ayahuasca ceremony last fall. He got back and he messaged me and he goes, "I really think you would love this experience." And I go, "Why is that?" And he told me, just knowing the traumas that I've had through addiction, my past, bankruptcies, all the things that have happened in my life, I'm in a really, really good place. Like, I'm doing this podcast. I got a great company we've got going. Everything is going great in life. And everybody's like, "Why are you doing this now?" It's because my company is based on soil, plants, community. And there's so much going on in the world with big pharma, medicines, medication. And I'll just share my own personal story. And I'm personally working with my doctor. But I had a heart issue several years ago because I died in Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. And I came back to life, put so much trauma on my heart. I had a lot of heart medications they had me on. In the last year, I've weaned myself off 4 medications with my doctor, and those were all for the heart. And I'm down
What were they called? The medications?
So lisinopril, carvedilol, spirulactam. And I can't even remember the other one, but I'm off all those, and I'm on another one now. I can't even say it. It ends in LOL. But the bottom line is, I'm tired of being medicated when I know there's answers in nature. And I've been on this journey for the last 15, 20 years, trying to figure out all the clues in the world and watching what's going on in the world. And then having this friend that invites me to this experience, I don't even know, But through the last few months, through talking to him and another gentleman that's a friend of his going, we're having an amazing conversations. And I just feel like whatever I'm fixing to go to in Mexico, by the time people watch this, I will be in the jungles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to experience, but I know it's going to be beautiful because that screaming, that yelling. Yeah, I might have some of that, but that was no different than being in my addiction, going through counseling and all the other things that I've done. We just do it through a different way.
Yeah. So I saw in the video that a lot of those people that were there kind of had past traumas they were trying to get rid of. So I think that's like it seemed like their life was going good now, but in the past they kind of had some traumas. So it's kind of like relates to you as well. Like in the past you had traumas, and then you're going to this now to get rid of whatever it was that was in the past that is upsetting you or something.
And I don't even think it's about, and there may be something there that is in my blind spot, but I'm going to get connected back to earth. You know, I don't know what that's, I feel like I've evolved in so many areas. I want to take myself to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting when I come back, what that's like, what the experience was. But I just really wanted to tell people what I'm about to do, because it's something I've never done before. I've experimented on my body with a lot of things in the past, done a lot of things that have been good, bad, and indifferent to my body. But this is going out into the jungles with a shaman. Somebody's going to actually be going through this entire experience the entire time. And that's something I've never experienced. Think about it. You're not laying in a counselor's chair. You're not on medication from a doctor. You're out in nature, and you're going to experience something through plants. Genesis 1:29 says everything was put on this earth for the healing and nourishment of our bodies.
So yeah, that's what they actually said in the ayahuasca, right? Ayahuasca.
I couldn't say it 3 months ago either, so it's all right.
The ayahuasca video is that they had a Hispanic guy on there, and he said that everything in the ayahuasca experience was from nature, and that's why God put it on the earth, was because of the nature experience and bringing people there. And personally, I hunt and I fish, and that's where I find myself most at peace. That's why I see a lot of people that are like, oh, hunting's boring, fishing's boring, you just sit there. But like, that's the experience of it. It's sitting there, enjoying nature, sitting in the deer blind, watching the deer come up. I mean, you don't always have to shoot anything. You don't always have to kill everything. You just experience it, and you just watch the deer. And sometimes when you're bow hunting, you can actually hear the deer like eating and walking next to you and stuff like that. So that's a huge experience. And I feel like that's what you're going to see. You know, you're going to see nature, animals, stuff like that.
Well, and the other thing is it's the diet too. Like, you know, before you do this experience, you can't have been on any antidepressants for a year. Not that I ever have, but a lot of people are on those, you know. So that's for the best experience. So you know, eating vegan, doing all these different things so that your body is in a beautiful place to accept this medicine and begin to heal, however that may look. To me, I'm ready to have a beautiful experience. And I don't know what it's going to be like, but the two gentlemen that I'm going with, I feel like I have an amazing spiritual bond with them already. And to be able to experience going into the jungle with two other addicts, that all three of us have had a history of being addicts in the past, and all three of us have conquered this. And so what is that? And they both had ayahuasca ceremonies before, and they've invited me to this one, and I don't know them. And so I've never been so excited to meet strangers, but we're connected. We're all connected. And just how all this has evolved for us to be in this moment together, I'm excited about what the future is going to hold. And I don't know what that looks like. All I know is I've spent the last several years really getting to know who I am inside and out, and follow my bliss. That's how I've created Botany Scientifics. That's how I found you to do our podcast. I don't know what the future holds, but I know it's beautiful, and I am ready for my ayahuasca experience.
So you're leaving on a plane.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again.
So then you come back.
2 weeks. We're not going to be doing the podcast. We're going to be, this will be our last podcast. We've got 6 podcasts floating around right now with this one. And it's going to be about 2-week delay, not because of us, but because I want to have an experience and come back. And Real Raw Authentic will take on a life of its own at that point. I truly believe that.
So we're going to do a podcast. We're doing a podcast right now before the experience, kind of what Mr. Chris feels right now, and then also what he feels after the experience. So
do you have any questions for me? Like,
what do you think is going to happen?
You really want me to tell you?
Yeah. What do you think is going to change?
I think I'm going to fall in love with everything I'm supposed to in this life and live happily ever after.
Really? You think it's going to change you that much?
I think it's not going to change me. I'm not looking to be changed. I'm looking to have all the answers for me to be in love with this life and live happily ever after, however that may look.
So do you think you'll be able to do that in just one ayahuasca? Or you're going to have to go back?
I think based on how I feel right now and through other people's experiences, I see myself inviting a friend, and before long, we have a bunch of people that are all evolving at the same level, traveling around the world, having beautiful experiences and bringing humanity back together again. That's my vision.
Mm-hmm. I think you, with that experience, it's going to be cool. I think I'm happy to see, or I'm excited to see what happens when you come back. And if you've done all of that you say.
Well, I don't want you to set your expectations too high, because I really feel like I've worked on myself so much to get to this point.
Well, yeah, you've come very far.
I'm not going in battered, bruised, and abused. Yeah. I'm going in ready to make a difference in the world. Like, this is my Gandhi experience, that type of thing.
Yeah. And I think you do that well. I'm going to mention Botany Scientifics on this because you said it. Mr. Chris has a brand, Botany Scientifics, and he does all the plant soil community. And while I've been doing this podcast, his brand has kind of helped a lot of people, wean off the medications they have now. And so I think he's going to be doing that. I know you mentioned that you want to live happy ever after and have everybody live happy ever after. I think you're going to be able to achieve that with Botany Scientifics as well, especially if you're able to wean off all these people from their medications because of your
and I'm no doctor,
company.
I'm no nutritionist, I'm no scientist. I'm just a guy that had an addiction, that got into nutrition, that sold a lot of vacuum cleaners in his lifetime. Mm-hmm. And I really get what people are looking for in life, and that's really just to be whole and complete within themselves. And to me, the ayahuasca experience is I'm going into it as a blank canvas. See, because as an artist, you can only create on a blank canvas. And so many of us we've got so much on our canvas, we don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
And so what I want to do is I want to take it all back to a place of nothingness and begin to create a powerful life. I feel like our universe, our country, the world is in a place where we're ready to take things to another level. And it all begins with ourselves.
That's powerful. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for this interview, Josh. I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Yes, sir. So we're going to go ahead and see what Mr. Chris is like in a couple of weeks here. And we'll keep you all updated. If you're going to film some down there?
We'll probably do some films. I'm actually blocked on Facebook right now, so I'm shadow banned.
Just go ahead.
Whatever I post, nobody sees it for a week or two.
People see it on here too. A lot of people are seeing it on here. So
and I'm on True Social now, and we've got our YouTube video. We're on Spotify. I think we're getting on Rumble as well.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, we are.
So be looking for Chris Oppenheimer, real, raw, authentic. We are going to elevate humanity to another level, and we're all going to begin following our bliss and be in love with ourselves and with one another.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you all. See y'all later.